Hello, everyone. My name is Maite. Hello, welcome to the second session of 2022 EUROLIS online seminar. My name is Maite Azorin. I'm the head librarian of the Instituto Cervantes in London. I'm part of the EUROLIS committee. 20 years old this year, EUROLIS is a group of librarian and information professionals from 6 European countries, Italy, France, Poland, Austria, Spain, and the UK, working together to raise the profile of European languages, literature, and culture in the UK. We strengthen relationship with information professionals through networking and cooperation. This is part of one of our programs that we have throughout the year. One is Euro Toolbox, which is an exhibition of books for children, and the other one is this annual seminar. So today, in our second session, we are going to start with the Italian speaker, Rosanna Moriello. So please, Rosanna, whenever you're ready.
Okay, hello everyone. I will share my screen in the meantime. Okay. 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 Hello. Good morning. Good afternoon, and good evening, according to where you are from. I'm Rosanna Moriello. I work as a librarian at the Sustainability Service of Polytechnic University of Turin, Italy. I'm a member of the ENSULIB Environment, Sustainability and Library section of WIFLA, and I am a member of the EBLIDA expert group on sustainable development and libraries. I will talk and share a couple of slides about that. And also a member of the Italian Library Association Observatory on Libraries and Sustainable Development. All these affiliations show what I will say. I would like to say as a starting point that the attention and the interest on Agenda 2030 has increased in recent years. For Italy, I can say for sure that since 2018-2019, there was a relevant increase of interest in professional and scientific literature, and also in library science studies. Much of this is due to the work of IFLA that, as you know, collaborated with the United Nations to implement the cultural aspects and issues related to access to information in the Agenda 2030. Even before the creation of the agenda that was created in 2015, IFLA was working on that. In 2014, IFLA promoted the Lyon Declaration, where it stated that a right to information would be transformational as referred to sustainable development, and access to information supports development by empowering people, especially marginalized people and those living in poverty. This is a big issue, and an issue in which libraries can have an important role. IFLA so started studying on sustainable development with a group that in 2021 was transformed in a standing committee. which is ENSULIB, Environment, Sustainability and Libraries section. It was transformed, sorry, in a section with a standing committee. And in this section, we make a lot of things. So we try to increase awareness about what libraries can do for sustainable development. For example, we have a green library checklist, publications. We have now a newsletter to which I invite you to contribute, also in presenting projects that you have in your libraries. A Green Library Award is organized every year, and I invite you also to participate in this award. Is an open call where you can propose projects in two categories. Actually, one is library projects and the other is green libraries, that is projects that are already realized. The EBLIDA expert group, European Libraries and Sustainable Development, Implementation and Assessment, is the same way concerned with increasing awareness, but especially in trying to define some tools for assessment, not only assessment of the outputs of what libraries do about sustainable development, but also of the whole process of activities inside libraries. Also in EBLIDA ELSIA website, you will find some documents, also translated in different languages. And there are also documents related to, which is another topic of ELSIA, the opportunities that libraries have to obtain funding, European funding, and anyway, also any kind of funding for projects. So there are also guidelines to develop projects. And as I said, I'm also a member of the Italian Library Association Observatory on Libraries and Sustainable Development, which was born as a group and transformed in June 2020 in a permanent observatory. And all these transformations that I underline are not by chance. I mean, in recent years, there was the issue was increasingly important. So to say that libraries need to take sustainable development issues in their activities, in their normal activities, in their policies. So it's not study groups that live for a while, but it's something that is to stay permanent in libraries. As an observatory, we also try to increase awareness with seminars and publications and translations.
Que te he enviado un mensaje, un email. Porfa, míralo y súbemelo.
We are trying to increase awareness, and so we, as a first point, we decided to know what libraries are doing in Italy about sustainable development. And so today I will show you some of the results of a survey. I could have chosen to present some activities. We have many activities in Italian libraries about sustainable development, but I think I will take a more critical approach. And so I will show some of the results, because at least for Italy, but maybe in the discussion later, you will tell me if it is shared situation. I think it's a starting point for some reflections. The survey was elaborated by the Observatory of the Italian Library Association and by a regional section of the associations that made a pilot survey, and also with the collaboration of the PhD course of the University of Bologna. And the survey was sent to all Italian libraries in the last month of 2021. It was sent by email to 12,282 addresses that we took from the National Registry Office for Libraries. And the first important data is that we had answers only from 856 libraries, which is, of course, a first data to reflect on. That is the low percentage of answer. We will need to understand if it is because they didn't have time to answer, or because they don't organize activities for the Agenda 2030, and so they decided not to answer. In Italy, just to give a map of the situation about the libraries, we have 7,425 public and private libraries, and state libraries, all freely open to the public. School and academic libraries are not included in this count anyway, and 58.3% of municipalities have at least one public library. There are almost 3 libraries every 100 square kilometers, and 1 library every 8,000 inhabitants. 2 out of 3 are libraries of municipalities, cities or towns. 9.2% belong to ecclesiastical institutions. 7.1 are owned by private association, and then 4 by foundations. We also have quite an equal distribution of libraries in the country, because more than half is in the north, and 58.3%. And these data are, in a way, important also to look at the data from the survey. And the survey started, of course, with a definition, a question about what kind of library was answering. And we can see that from this graph that the majority of respondents were public libraries, then special libraries and school libraries, and then academic libraries and other kind of libraries. And first point of attention is about academic libraries, also because I work in a university, and the fact that answers by academic libraries were quite low, but actually we have a fewer number of academic libraries that are about 1,000. And the first question is, how much are academic libraries involved in activities for sustainable development? And if universities, the governance of universities are aware of what libraries can do for sustainable development. And this is, as we know from some studies also, and collection of data, this is not the case. I mean, there are a lot of activities made by academic libraries, but they are not at institutional level. While universities are deeply concerned with sustainable development, there is really a lot going on in universities about sustainable developments. But generally, these do not include libraries. In Italy, there is a network of universities for sustainable development, rules, and you can see it's organized in many sections. My university is coordinating this network, and there is really a lot going on that. Coming back to the survey, another question was, of course, if the library, first question, if the library had planned or organized activities for sustainable development. And as you can see, the majority did not. Only 1/3 answered that they organize or were planning activities for sustainable development. And this is, well, not so good, not so bad, as I would say. When two libraries that answered that they were organizing or planning or had organized activities, we asked if these activities were planned with partner institutions. And this answer is interesting because 3 out of 3 quarters, the majority, vast majority, said that they organize activity with partners. So it's sustainable development. It's a way, an opportunity of collaboration, cooperation with partners. And we asked also the role of the library in the partnership, and the majority again said that they are organizers. So libraries organize activities and they involve other partners. What kind of partners in those activities? Well, this is a list in order of quantity of answers. So, partners are mainly private associations, cultural associations in the majority, schools, which is very interesting. So, public institutions of different kind, other libraries, private professionals or experts in certain topics or arguments, private business and companies, universities, foundations, and museums. Another important data that we got from the survey is the impact of the pandemic and lockdowns that were more than one in Italy. And we can see from this graph that the years of the lockdown were a big impact. We can see that in 2018, as I said, it's a starting year for awareness and activities, and there is an increase until 2019, and then toward 2020 there was a collapse, and because of course activities in libraries were limited by the first lockdown, which was quite total in Italy. and later lockdowns. Many we can see from other data that actually only 1/3, 31.1% of public libraries and 21.3% of private libraries open to the public, of course, were closed completely during the first total lockdown that in Italy was January, from in the March, actually, May 2020. And even less in the following months, when only 11.4% of libraries were closed. But in the totality of libraries, activities and services were suspended. The totality of libraries, in a way, in some part, suspended services. And from data, we can understand that among suspended activities, there were many activities about goals of the Agenda 2030. And this is a kind of a step back in the development that the pandemic, of course, produced. We can say that due to COVID, Agenda 2030, for a couple of years at least, was not a priority anymore for many libraries, even if they were opened. They were open also offering services in remote and online mode. Coming back again to the survey, another interesting, I think, question is about the keywords used to describe the activity about SDGs. I treated the answers with a software for creating this kind of word cloud. And the first input was with all words, and so you can see there are almost 500 possible words, and so I restricted, taking off the more obvious keywords like sustainable development, sustainability, and so on. And the result was this cloud that I know, unfortunately, it's in Italian, but you can see the bigger words. So the most used keywords are environment, ambiente, culture, reading, and then inclusion, inclusione, education, promotion, and also children, because many activities were organized with children and for children is related to sustainable development. Another question asked what kind of goals, which goals they intended to cover with their activities in libraries. And we can see from this graph that the most frequent answer was SDG 4, so quality instruction, and then SDG 10 and 11, so sustainable cities, and the other are at least at the same level. And another interesting question was, we asked if librarians thought that they they produced a change in citizens' habits, which should be the objective of the scope, the aim of any of these, of course, activities. And this is interesting too, because more than half say yes, at least partially, and another big part say yes, and only a small number say no. So this means that actually libraries can do activities, and they have an impact on citizens, even because they are very close to citizens and to communities. Libraries know their communities and are really maybe possibly the closest institutions closest to citizens. And as related to this aspect, that is the impact, which is the aim, the important aim of any activity. We asked what kind of measure they took to say yes, we had an impact on people, and there were a lot. Some used survey interviews. Some counted the participation to the activity, either in number of participants in person or online. Some analyzed the composition of participating audience, also by nationality, age, and so to measure also the differences with other activities and with general audience of the library. Also informal speech with users and partners, direct observation by librarians, formal communication from partners that were communications of appreciation, for example, from schools that say we are very glad and happy for the collaboration, and they asked to continue this partnership for other activities. And also in case of collaboration with schools, the outputs by students that were maybe asked to write some paper or some summary of the activities, or anyway create some written outputs in their classrooms. Also, many libraries detected an increasing in the number of users. Many said that there was an increase in the use of services, and particularly in services linked to the activity that they had organized. For example, the increase in the number of loans on sustainable development topics, or on the specific topic about sustainable development that they were the object of the activity they organized. There were also an increased interest by media, with publication of articles and interviews about the activities libraries organized. And librarians also measured interaction on social networks to have an idea, a measure, of course, of the impact. And in some cases, but especially in small towns, they could understand the impact by collecting data, for example, about changes in the habits in recycling trash. They say that they get data from the service in charge of trash collecting trash, that they saw an increase in the recycling, so differentiating trash, and many libraries anyway answer that they don't have tools to measure impact. And this is a key issue. It's an issue, as I said, that we are working on in both in Ensulib and in the Eblida ELSIA group, because this is a crucial point. As you know, we say that things that cannot be measured do not exist. So if you want to show that you are doing and you are having an impact, you must find the way to measure and to spread these measures and say, okay, we do these things and we can measure and we can say that we have an impact. And also there is another big issue about evaluation of the impact, that activities, and particularly this kind of activities about sustainable development, may produce results in the medium or long term. So maybe the output, the impact is not so visible immediately in the short term. And so this is another reflection that we are working on in international associations, IFA and Eblida. And I think I'm in time, just to add some final considerations that this survey brings, and anyway, the general considerations, looking at what libraries are doing from this different point of observation in Italy, Europe, and global point of observation, that is IFLA. But particularly staying in Italy, I can say that the first question is, first of all, to know what libraries are actually doing, because and why so many libraries have not organized activities about the Agenda 2030. I think that having a national framework is very important, because of course it is important that the single libraries work on their territories, but it's also important that there is a framework, a general framework of libraries, and also connected and in network that can interact with also with other institutions, and that probably we need to increase awareness for sure, and maybe also instruction and education for librarians, which is maybe not always so so aware. And also, of course, we need resources, and in Italy we have a problem of resources in libraries for sure. On the contrary, libraries that organize activities that said in the survey that they organized activities show a very high level of awareness and attention of sustainable development. SDGs and Agenda 2030 are a set of activities that stimulate collaboration, particularly with private partners like cultural associations and school, and these help libraries to be even more present on territories. And they offer an opportunity to start or consolidate relationships and networks also with other institutions. Visibility and the attention of media increase, and of course this is another important aspect for libraries. And finally, that we need for sure tools, shared and tools for assessment of activities about sustainable development and the Agenda 2030 in libraries. Also, this is the final slide, just to underline what IFRA says about open access and the clear link between sustainable development and open access. In the statement on open access published in September 2022, IFRA said clearly that open access makes a significant contribution to the Sustainable Development Goals, including target 16.10. Because seeks to ensure public access to information and protect fundamental freedoms in accordance with national legislation and international agreements. And open access should be viewed as a means of addressing information poverty, that is a main topic for libraries, which then identifies gaps in information skills and is further characterized by a lack of essential information, a poorly developed information infrastructure. Generally, open access ensures fair and equitable access to information, which is integral to the information society. And this is another key point, especially for academic libraries. So I close here, thanking you and thanking the organizers for the invitation. Here you have also the link to the websites of ANSOLIB, ELSIA, and OBIS. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Can you all see me now? Let me see. I'm here. Where am I? Can you see me now? Yes. Okay. Because I can see Rosanna. Thank you very much, Rosanna. Very interesting presentation about the result that you have put together for the results of the survey on sustainable development in the Italian libraries. Thank you. Very interesting. So if any of you have any questions, so could you please write them in the message, and we will. And she will answer later on after we finish all the presentations. So now we're going to move on with the second presentation. We have 3 speakers from France, in particular from Paris. And there are the ladies from La Médiathèque de la Canopée, Sophie Bobet, Alice Larmagnac, and Elsa Leguevel. and they're going to talk about a pilot library for sustainable development in the Parisian network.
I am Sophie. I'm the director of the Canopy Library, and with Elsa and Alice, we are going to present you our green project. Then we share our screen. It took a few minutes. No seconds. Okay, you see it? Okay. Then I'm going to begin with the second slide. Thanks for your invitation. We are very pleased to be there and to present you our green project, which received the IFLA Green Library Award in July. The first slide is just to remind Paris' commitment for climate change and the context in which we work. We belong to the Paris network, which counts 68 libraries, and and also 96 buildings, 22,000 students in music, dance, theater, academies, and also you have the numbers in the documents we receive. And more important for us is to speak about our library. Our library is dedicated to urban and digital cultures with a special focus on the deaf public. And we are located in the center of Paris in the new Léal district. And the Canopy is a recent building because we opened 6 years ago in a HQ building inside the Westfield Léal Mall. And we are one of the key Parisian traffic junction. It attracts over 700,000 persons per day. But we have a few smaller. We have just 1,000 meters, about 45 documents. Our team counts 22 librarians and 10 students for the weekends. And you have the numbers of 2019, and because there was the lockdown in 2020. But we receive a lot of publics, and we have a few budget for project. You have the numbers, and no specific budget for sustainability project. We have a lot of partnerships. Then I'll let Alice, she's going to tell you about collections, cultural programs, and a working group on Green Library, because she's the leader of this working group. And then Elsa will talk about sustainable digital practices.
So I don't know if you hear me. It's okay?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So since 2019, the Canopy Library has been at the forefront to conduct circular economy initiatives to lower its environmental impact through new professional practices and new services for the public. A committed cultural program in collaboration with the recently launched Académie du Climat, the creation of a label Ecology in our collections, launch of new services such as map of seed libraries and library gardens open to the public, etc. Our goal is to make our professional practices evolve. We have released a Green Library Guide on eco-friendly procedures, office life, communication, the digital world, cultural programming, services to the public, and other ideas for tomorrow. This Green Library Guide helps our colleagues implementing these issues. We take part in many conferences and best practices on green developments in France and worldwide. So if you We made an evaluation of our environmental impact, the resulting from the use of the building, energy, waste sorting, with the support of the city services, and corresponding also to our professional practices, office activity, book chain and circuits, and digital practices. About collection and services, since 2018, the library had developed a collection of documents specializing in ecology and services such as a seed library, the Grenothèque, to enable the exchange of seeds amongst our patrons, a Bouturothèque for the barter of cuttings, and the network of city libraries in Paris, to which the library belongs, is already involved in reflecting globally on these issues, especially regarding awareness amongst our users. A few words about our cultural program. We propose workshops on how to recycle, lectures, debates, and ribbon walks to help users understand the challenges of sustainable development as part of the UN 2030 agenda. We worked on a Green Library working group inside the library. It begins in 2019. We decided to make ecology a central part of our strategic plan. A cross-party working group on the theme of the Green Library was launched to work on collection development, to imagine new services for and with our users, and to share our own professional practices. We also started to think about setting up an environmental management system, EMS, based upon the ISO 14000-2015 standard, in order to reduce and control our environmental impacts. Implementing an EMS means demonstrating compliance with current and future legal and regulatory requirements, as well as strengthening the involvement of management and employees by setting strategic environment goals. The EMS is both an internal management tool for the library that also enables us to constantly strengthen our engagement to improve our environmental performance by integrating the city library network, service providers, and partners. So we were recently rewarded by ICLA's Green Library Prize. Our application was based on all the elements we mentioned before, as well as on actions centered on 2030 agenda's SDGs, and I will present you some of them. So this is SDGs, I think you know them. So number one, no poverty. So to fight against poverty, we are collecting and providing sanitary protections. We also have a book swap stand, and we offer free services for vulnerable people. Number two, zero hunger. We organized weekly solidarity breakfasts in winter times in partnerships with associations and other cultural actors. Number three, good health and well-being. We have, for example, a service of home delivery for elderly or disabled people in collaboration with volunteers. We also have a partnership with the Parisian Hospital Network and performance in French Sign Language. We are an inclusive library for the deaf community. So we have deaf or hearing people in our team. We are all practicing the French Sign Language to welcome deaf users. We have specialized collections, and they are available, and all our events are accessible to the specific public. We also have an easy-to-read collection large print books for the visually impaired, and remote access to the Paris Digital Library with e-reader zones. And then I think Elsa will tell you more about digital strategy. Gathering people together is really important to us. So we have a community puzzle inside the library that is available every time, every day. And we also have game nights that we organize once a month. The service of barter of seeds and cuttings is always available inside the library. We are promoting also urban sustainability by many actions in partnerships with different actors. We organize urban tours and we have partnerships with the community gardens nearby. And number 13, I think it's the last one, it's climate action. We organize conferences and debates around, about global warming issue. Here you have a photo of debate on political involvement for sustainable development and criticisms from associations like Greenpeace, for example. And then you have a photo of the garden Lily who we are working with. And these are, I think, some links to our blog if you want to read more about all the actions we are doing.
Thank you, Alice. Did you have more to say?
No, that's okay.
I'll then talk about how we try to make our use of technologies more sustainable, because we are a library focused on ecology, but technologies as well. I'll start by saying that the solution is for us not to stop using completely digital technologies, because we need them to have efficient services, to be in line with the users' behaviors, expectations, and of course to provide people with the new cultural products or information that's created online, video games, etc. But we're looking for ways to limit our impacts. What we want to emphasize is the fact that we have a great asset because we are already a place of sharing. So same can be used for digital technologies. We, for example, lend e-readers, so they are used by more people and can be used for longer. We have a Fab Lab that instead of sitting in a closet is going from library to library to be used at special events. And then we need to analyze first our users. We wanted to go beyond the reduction of electric consumption only, because there was already awareness of shutting down computers, etc. We really wanted to change our practices. For example, to avoid extra emails, which is a problem everywhere. We have an end of the day meeting with the whole team and share problems that happen during the day, information that needs to be known by the whole team, and we share how the events of the day went. And this is made into only one email that goes to the whole team. There's many little changes like this we can do. But we also talked to experts, and we know that technology has a great impact at the beginning of its cycle. The making of computers or phones is 75% of its impact. So what we are doing is working to maintain our computers and game consoles, etc. better. We use RFID chips that we put in books. We give away unused equipment to be refurbished and used in associations, but some changes we cannot do alone. We are working with the Direction of Culture in Paris to, for example, change government contracts. It's already the case for furniture. We can buy secondhand furniture, for example. We are wondering if we could do the same with technologies and or lend computers, and same for repairing equipment. Right now, when the warranty is over, we cannot repair anything if we don't have if you don't know how to do it ourselves. So we are wondering if we could have a workshop for the city where the equipment could be repaired. The ways to do it for us is by learning, working with others, and exchanging good practices. We have green library groups, which we've talked about nationally, internationally. But there's also work in the city of Paris specifically for digital sobriety and the ways to limit technological impacts. And then we have to identify potential partners. So we are working with recycling shops. We are trying to find users who can who have the know-how to begin repair cafes, as it's done in different libraries in Paris. And this is the way we were trying to change our ways inside the library. We are also trying to relay information about digital sobriety to the public. One way of doing this is writing about what we're learning and what we're trying to change, what works and what doesn't work. Because the articles that are the most read are about the things that didn't work and nobody should do. We tried it for you, it doesn't work. We try to teach and relay information. Alice was talking about the collection of books for ecology. And now we are trying to link all the time technological learning with social issues that come with technologies. We have a special collection of books about this, but we also have people coming to talk about it at the library and shows that have been done. But we also try not just to give books for people to learn and then make changes by themselves. We try to make change together by giving tech support and assistance so that people can keep their equipment for longer. We teach them problem solving, and we have some Fab Labs that can be used to repair objects, produced locally for specific uses. For example, the different Fab Labs in Paris have been used to produce masks during the first period of COVID outbreak. We can do install parties for Linux to, again, try to help people keep their equipment longer, etc. And this is it. I talked very fast. I hope you could understand me. Sophie, did you want to say a word to conclude?
Our experiment is still ongoing, and will probably lead to new issues being uncovered. Our professional sector is undeniably a core stakeholder of the book chain, and this leads us to question our professional practices as well as our impact of the environment. By modifying our practices, involving our users and other stakeholders, we are definitely participating in the necessary change, and we received the Livre Hebdo Prize Coup de cœur du jury for this engagement in 2021. Thank you for your attention.
And here we are. If you have any questions, we didn't talk about all our activities, so we'll be there to answer you at the end. Thanks.
Okay, thank you very much, Sophie, Alice, and Elsa. It was a great exposition. It was really inspiring, all the innovative action and project that you're doing, not that you have done, that you're still doing, related to the Agenda 2030. And the presentation was great. So any questions, please let us know at the box here, at the question box, at the chat, and they will answer at the end of the presentation. Now we're going to move forward to our Austrian speaker, and she is Christina Grenmeier. She's a librarian at the city library in Innsbruck. Hi, Christina. And the title of her presentation is "Small Steps Make Big Changes: Examples for a small step towards a green public library in Innsbruck, Tyrol, Austria." Thank you, Christina, for joining us.
Thank you. I'm trying to share my screen with you now.
Okay.
I hope it will work. So, do you see the screen or do you see my notice? Well, no, I have the right screen. Well, thank you for the opportunity to present the small steps the City Library in Innsbruck takes toward the Green Library and the SDGs. My name is Christina Grenmeier, and since 2017, I'm the head of the City Library in Innsbruck. I work in this library for almost 25 years now, and I was really lucky to be part of the team that developed the concept for the new library that opened just 4 years ago in November 2018. Since 2018, I'm also in the executive board of the BVÖ, the Austrian Library Association. The BVÖ supports a lot of initiatives in libraries, but the most important role of the BVÖ is to organize trainings for librarians, as there is no academic education for librarians in Austria. One reason for that is that around 85% of all librarians in Austria work as volunteers. So they run the library in their leisure time and don't get paid for it. So the BVÖ really tries to support those libraries, those librarians with trainings, with foundation. And this is our part. We can support the libraries. And so that is why we decided to present best practice. And my library was chosen as we had a focus on various aspects of sustainability over the last 4 years. For this presentation, I decided to focus on responsible consumption and not so for the programs and activities we have in the library, but all those projects we had on responsible consumptions are like easygoing projects, small steps that can be realized in every kind of library. Interesting enough, it's almost all projects are around like stop doing things because you really save money and resources because of that. So basically, I think every library is sustainable as we are all are offering access to information, education, and culture, and library is a public space where people of all backgrounds and generations spend their leisure time together, and we are a very important part of a city's social infrastructure. We all contribute to social sustainability by empowering people, by lending books, sharing information, and sharing stories. We all contribute to circular economy every day. And I think every library can share their own stories. And we had a lot of super stories in this presentation and last week on all the stories Poland can share with us. And today I'm very lucky to share my visions and our projects and the visions of the Stadtbibliothek to sustainability with you. It is most important for us to have an impact on our patrons. We are fully aware that we cannot save the world from climate catastrophe or anything else, but everybody of us can contribute small things to do better. And I think libraries are a role model. And we in Innsbruck, we wanted to make it easy for every visitor to contribute and to act sustainable. We want to make people aware of what they could do in everyday life. And that does not mean to change life completely, but to take small steps together with us, with the library. But before I start telling you about the small steps, I want just to contextualize our projects by telling you about the town I work and live in and about the library I work and live in. Innsbruck is located in the western part of Austria, and it's the capital of the federal state Tyrol. In fact, it's only about 50 kilometers from the Italian border. So hi, Rosanna, we're just neighbors, in fact. You might know Innsbruck as host city of Olympic Games. And so you might understand that this has a strong impact on the city of Innsbruck itself and on the surroundings, economically as well as ecologically. And of course, climate change is a big issue in the Alps because we really have the impact of all that right now. But Innsbruck is also a very urban city. We have 130,000 inhabitants, and almost a quarter of them are students, so it's a very young city. And since 2018, the mayor of Innsbruck, Georg Willi, is from the Green Party, so sustainability now plays an important part on the political agenda. The library itself was opened in a new location in 2018. You see, it was a very important year for us. The building itself, it has very high energetic standards and was furnished with natural materials. We hired mostly local artisans to equip the library, and sustainability had a strong impact on planning the library from the very beginning. The library itself measures about 3,000 square meters on 2 floors. And at the moment we store about 80,000 items, including digital services. It was necessary to build a new library as the old building was far too small. It only measured 700 square meters and could store 40,000 items. We are not on the end of getting new items, but it takes some time. So when negotiations about the new library started, we made clear that it was very important to us that people can come to the library in a more sustainable way than using a car. So it was clear it has to be located somewhere in the city, in the center of the city. Public transport and bicycle infrastructure is quite good in Innsbruck, so you can reach the library really with that public transport. Fun fact is, it's now very difficult to reach the library by car, as there is a major junction just right in front of the library. but there is a big public transport terminal just right in front of the library, and the bike lane runs directly to the library. So in cooperation with the city's administration, we decided to do without parking lots for cars, but instead installed parking lots for bicycles. So now more than 80% of our visitors come either by bike, public transport, or just walk to the library. And as the public transport terminal is so near to the library, we just ask the public transport company if they just can name the terminal there, Stadtbibliothek, City Library. So we learned that at least in Innsbruck, public transport companies sell the names of bus stations. So we bought our own station. And now if you come to the library or just walk by where the red tram stops, it's called Stadtbibliothek. So everybody in Innsbruck knows now where the Stadtbibliothek, where the city library is. Almost 500 people visit the Stadtbibliothek every day, and a lot of them spend quite some time in the library to study, to read, or just to meet friends. So when planning the new library, we started a discussion whether or not it should be allowed to eat or drink in the library. As we understand our library as the largest public living room in Innsbruck, we of course decided that eating and drinking in the library should be allowed, and we should provide some kind of catering. We didn't opt for a professional cafe in the library, as there are in many other libraries. The reason for us was that we don't want to suggest that you have to buy drinks or food when you just wanted to read in the cafe. So we decided to provide vending machines for coffee, snacks, and tap water. It was important for us that the vending machines were filled with fair trade products. It wasn't a problem for the coffee machine, but it was a problem for the snacks. As you usually rent those vending machines, the company filled the machines according to economic measures. So in the case of the vending machine, we decided not to rent it, but just buy it so we can fill it with fair trade products. We cooperate with a small shop that exclusively sells fair trade products. They will come to the library once a week and refill the machine at their own costs. The sales belong to them. We care for the machine if it needs service or anything like that. So this was a very easy option for providing fair trade products only in the library. And the side effect, our patrons are aware of the fact that there are always fair alternatives for their favorite snacks and drinks. When eating and drinking in the library is allowed, you also have to handle the waste people leave in the library. We provided facilities for sort wasting from the beginning, but they were not very visible in the library, and they were not very often used. So last year we tried to rethink the concept, and we were discussing whether we should provide waste sorting facilities at every desk or stay with the concept of one central facility and ask people to sort their waste there. We came up with the idea of a new central and, most important, more visible facility of waste sorting. We just installed it on Monday, so I adapted the presentation yesterday. I'm sorry, the picture isn't that grand, so I just took the picture so you can see how it looks like. It's situated just in the middle of the library. As a next step, we will adapt our guidance system so the visitors can find the waste sorting facility more easily. We use the same pictograms and colors schools in Innsbruck use for the different kind of wastes. So we do not have to invest time and money in fancy designs, but we can benefit from the moment of recognition so every child knows where to put the waste. Along with it comes a new awareness campaign in the library and on social media. Here again, we not only make it easy for our patrons to act sustainable, but we also take responsibility for social sustainability and raise awareness that waste sorting isn't a big thing and one can easily do it at home. Though waste sorting is an important thing, our aim is to reduce waste in the first place. So there are some projects on this issue as well. Due to its geographical location in between the mountains, tap water in Innsbruck has a very high standard. Some years ago, University in Innsbruck started a smart city program, and among other programs, there was an awareness campaign that promoted to refill your own bottles with tap water instead of buying water in plastic bottles. Shops and public institutions could participate in this project and allow people to refill their bottles in their places. The Stadtbibliothek also participates in this project, and we also took the next step and additionally provide glasses so people just can get the water in the library. And as a side effect, I didn't have a picture of it, I see now. To reduce waste, you will get a price reduction at our coffee vending machine. So if you refill your plastic bag or get your own cup, you will get a price reduction. And so patrons immediately benefit from reducing waste and save money. And all our events in the library are planned as so-called green events. That is, among other criteria, that we only have regional, seasonal, biological, and vegetarian catering. We will provide beverages in recyclable or multi-way bottles, and we won't use single-packed portions. So by visiting just the events in the library, people automatically act sustainable. Waste reduction also has a major impact on our communication strategy. Our motto is digital first. We try to communicate as much as possible by digital means, that is our website, our email newsletter, social media, and info screens in the library, and on a regular basis on the info screens of public transport. That helped us to reduce the number of printed materials. Yet we are aware that we cannot reach all our target groups online. So we only have 2 prints that are produced on a regular basis. That is the flyer with the general information about the library. As we have to inform the new patrons about our current fees, we have to reprint this flyer every year. As we have to adapt the design of the flyer next year, we will reconsider the content of the flyer as well as so we could produce it in a more sustainable and not way, and not only for 1 year. The other print we have every 3 months is our event program. And we are not sure if we can reach really all our target groups if we provide our program only in digital form. Last year, we tried to produce bookmarks with a QR code that led to our program on the website, so we could use them over a longer period of time. But people did not quite get it. They used them as bookmarks, as they should, but they didn't get online to check our program. So we came back to the idea of a printed program, though we aren't quite happy about it. Almost 2 years ago, we started a film streaming service. To promote it, we of course printed flyers. When there were no flyers left, we spent a thought if it was really necessary to promote an online service with analog means. The result is that we didn't produce promotions flyers, but started an Instagram campaign and now post the film recommendation every Friday with the hashtags Film Up and Batschenkino. Batschenkino is an informal expression for watching films on TV at home. Batschen means slippers and Kino is the German word for cinema. So you go to the cinema with your slippers on and have it very comfortable. The streaming service is quite popular, and so we can just do without printed flyers. The campaign really works out good. We have a lot of likes for all our postings of film recommendation. Another very simple way to reduce waste and save resources in library is to stop covering books with plastic wrap. I don't know if that is common in other countries, but it is in Austria. For many years, most of public libraries just wrap their book in plastic foil to protect them from that getting dirty and therefore can be lent more often. A few years ago, librarians in Austria started to question that. Plastic wrap is on the other side not that cheap, and so you can really buy a lot of books when stopping wrapping them. And you save a lot of human resources because it's a whole lot of work. And books are more recyclable. And stop wrapping books with plastic foil makes them more recyclable. But interestingly enough, there are really very emotional discussions whether or not to plastic wrap books. So as we most of the time do, we just tried it. We stopped wrapping children's books in the first place because we assumed that children's books circulate very often and will get dirty and damaged more easily. The result is they aren't. Book covers don't get damaged more easily, and it's not the book covers that are dirty, it's the pages, so the plastic wrap does not help really. So stop wrapping books if you do, otherwise congratulations, you're very sustainable, and so you can reduce waste in the library and save resources. In last May, we started our latest sustainable upcycling project in the library. We all know that plastic bags are very bad for environment, and this is the reason why nowadays a lot of shops and libraries offer sustainable alternative to plastic bags. In fact, they are no longer allowed to sell plastic bags in shops. So the alternative is cloth bags. But you might have made the experience that you come to the library, find a lot of good, very, very good books and take them out, and you forgot your library cloth bag at home. So you buy another cloth bag, take the books home, and I'm very, very sure there is a drawer full of cloth bags from the library, from your favorite bookstore, and so on. If you think about it, cloth bags aren't that sustainable as they might seem. The production of cloth bags consume a high amount of resources, and one should reuse the bags at a minimum of 126 times that it is as sustainable as a plastic bag is. For the opening of the library in 2018, we produced cloth bags as a marketing material, and as we ran out of them, we were faced with a tremendous cut of our marketing budget due to pandemic. So to save our financial resources, we have to come up with a creative idea, and we started an upcycling project. We asked other departments in the city's administration and all the employees if they have cloth bags they won't use any longer, so we had a stock to start with. To guarantee that the cloth bags were neat and nice, we cooperate with the laundry that employs long-term unemployed women. So the cloth bags were washed and ironed, and we started to give them away for free in the library, but we asked our patrons to bring them back and bring along their unused cloth bags next time they visit. And it really works out. We always have enough cloth bags in our storage to give them away, and people just keep bringing them into the library. To promote this project, We produced bookmarks. As we run out of the program bookmarks, they didn't work that good. And we also started a social media campaign and connected with networks in Tyrol that promotes regional circular economic projects. As a result, this project is now copied by nearby libraries, and probably it will be copied by a big weekly market here in Innsbruck. Besides all the projects on responsible consumption, we also, of course, have projects on social sustainability, and it, of course, has an important aspect in the library's mindset. And it also has a strong impact on our program and communication strategy. But we always bear in mind to take along our patrons, to take step up after step, not only to a green library, but also to a sustainable society. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Christina. It was absolutely wonderful. I would change your the title of your presentation. Instead of examples, I will say good examples. Instead of small, I will say for big steps towards a green library. Great examples, great ideas. I think, you know, it's just fantastic. And now we're going to start with the questions and answer. I'm going to start myself asking everybody, all the speakers today, about especially the French ladies and you, Christina. Well, I don't know about Rosanna, maybe Rosanna too. What is your budget, or what was your budget to start this UN 2030 agenda for sustainable development within libraries, within your libraries? Do you have a special budget? Do you just use your regular budget?
For the canopy, we use our usual budget. We had no budget specific. No, but we work with a lot of partnerships, and it's a way to low.
Because you have a lot of programs, la canopy.
Yeah, yeah.
Lot of programs they cost money. So I don't know what. Yeah.
Free programs. We have 80,000 budget for collections, acquisitions, and animations, but we have a few projects who are.
So 80,000 is your total budget for the library, and then you split it up within the, you know, one is part it goes for the collection, another one goes for the program.
About 60,000 for the acquisition.
Wow, and that's so that's not for the amount of program that you run. I think you're doing pretty well.
She was talking about acquisitions of books and collections.
Yeah, but books, and you said 60,000 for acquisition.
We have around 10,000, and less than 10,000.
But it is a special budget or just a regular? You said this was just a regular budget. You just adapted your budget to the UN 2030 agenda. Yes. Okay. Okay.
When we did our implementation about covered plastic, we bought 2 exemplars.
We're switching to another subject because we didn't talk about lowering our plastic uses.
Yeah. On a acheté 2 exemplaires.
And she's talking about we first started by buying 2 of some books, and one keeping the plastic covers, and on the other not using a plastic cover, and alerting to the public about the testing we were doing.
And it was on our regular budget.
Okay,
we had no budget.
Okay. Okay. How about Christina? because she also is doing a lot of stuff, all the wasting, all the bins, the wonderful bins, and what you're doing about the coffees and organizing all that and the cleaning afterwards. So that costs money.
No, it doesn't. We save a lot of money because we stopped wrapping books. That was an awful lot of money. So,
Okay.
And the bins, actually, it's in a cooperation with the city's administration. So it's we are part of the city administration. And we got the budget of the city of Innsbruck, and the pins you saw,
Yeah.
the pins you saw, they were financed by the department that is responsible for waste management. In
On all the social media campaign as well, is it within your budget, the library budget that you run, or the city?
I have wonderful colleagues, and they are so talented. So we do that all ourselves. We have two colleagues. One does all the graphic stuff and all the photographing you see, and one is specialized on the content. So we have two people who they do all the promotion stuff and PR stuff.
Okay, Rosanna, anything about budget? Because yours was a research and a survey, a research about the survey. Does the university pay for it, or was it within the budget of the university?
You mean the survey?
Yes.
It was made by
the research that you did with the survey.
Library Association, but I will say what my thought about this, and I think that most of the activities in libraries are anyway related to sustainable development, to leaving no one behind.
Yeah.
Libraries give access to any people without any kind of discrimination. So it's most of activities are already in that road. You just maybe need to make choices in ordinary activities, to make choices that relate to sustainable development. For example, in acquisitions, you normally do book acquisitions, but you maybe can create a special collection with the same budget, just choosing another kind of books, or also information literacy can become sustainable literacy. So it's just a matter of choice, be aware of what you can do and do it and highlight, because it is not so clear for stakeholders that this is also sustainable development.
Okay, thank you. And another thing regarding the budget for books, trying to meet the UN 2030 agenda for sustainable development, do you use more money to buy ebooks, electronic material than physical materials, or not?
In Paris, the ebook collections are made for the whole network. So
okay, so it's not a particular for your own library. So it's something that is being organized from the council, for the town hall or something. Okay.
It is 2 librarians in Paris who buy all the ebooks and who
for everybody, for all the libraries in Paris.
All the libraries in Paris. We can suggest things. We're suggesting right now to have those collections be more accessible, where there's video courses online that are not subtitled for the deaf people, for example. We're trying to make them more accessible. And we are also contributing to helping the patrons use those collections, because they're not always easy to find and use.
Okay. And how about Christina? Because you might think, okay, is it because I can reach out to more people with the e-collection, with the electronic collection, but on the other hand, you also want people just to touch the books, to have the books.
We,
So
first and foremost, we want people to come into the library,
yes.
to join us and to spend time here. When they take out books, it's okay as well. No, we have an ebook collection, and it's about 1/5 of our collectioners are ebooks, and that's quite the percentage the lendings are. But in Austria and in Germany, the problem is there is only 2 providers that sell ebooks for libraries, and you won't get any book, all the books you have in an analog collection as an ebook. So that's a big issue for some years. But ebooks aren't that present in German speaking in Germany and in Austria as well. Even in the bookstores only sell, I think, 5% of their sales are ebooks.
Oh, right. Okay. Okay.
What's,
interesting. Very interesting. I don't know about France. Yeah.
What's happening in Paris also that's kind of special about the digital collections is that to be a patron in Paris, like, it is free for everybody in France, whereas some cities you have to pay a small fee or a bigger fee. And and we are in the very center of Paris, so some people come and to be a patron in our library just to get access to ebooks and
all right. Okay.
and
Okay.
courses
Okay.
the
Yeah.
rest of
Yeah.
the year.
Okay.
So
Okay.
we also try to give access to anybody.
Okay. You have a couple of questions here. I don't know for how many people make up your team. I don't know who that question is for. Maybe for the Canopy Library, because you're so many. I don't know.
No, we're
for
about,
Paris. Yeah, Rosario. Yeah, for Paris. How many people are you?
I think in Innsbruck there were 25. We're 22, and we are helped during weekends by a team of 5 students. So 30 for for Saturdays and Sundays, and 22 the rest of the week.
And we have a lot of internship to help us to think about our activities.
Coming from library schools, or there was one in
Public management
of sustainability who made a big study for us also.
Okay. Any more questions, anyone? Otherwise, we'll wrap up. Okay, ladies. I would like to thank you all our speakers today. Rosanna from Turin, Sophie, Alice, and Elsa from Paris, and Christina from Innsbruck. Thank you so, so much. Not just from your presentations that were great, fantastic, but also for your dedication on meeting the UN 2030 agenda for sustainable development in libraries. Thank you so much. Well, I hope to see you all next week. That will be our last session. And what can I say? Thank you so much. Okay.
Thank you.
Please just try to answer the survey that we just posted. Okay. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Have a great evening. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.